Jew claim 1. Is Christianity and Judaism different religions? This is what the Jews say now. Well, I am here to tell you absolutely not. Because of thousands of years of teaching to the contrary, it is widely believed that the two are different faiths. There is much evidence to show that these beliefs are indeed false and are the direct result of 2,000 years of anti-Semitic teachings. Well, here's the answer to that one. Yahweh did not believe this. There are 7 references in the Gospel similar to Matthew chapter 15 verse 3, which says, when Yahweh was speaking to the Jews, why do you also transgress the commandment of Yahweh by your tradition? Right away, there's a split. Why do you Jews also transgress the commandment of Yahweh, split, by your tradition? This is very important. That show that the commandments of Yahweh were at variance with the teaching of the laws of the Jews. So the commandments of Yahweh is totally contrary to what the Jews are teaching today and telling these Judeo-Christian ministers. Now, in regard to the word and the use of the word anti-Semitic, that seems to be slurred all over television and radio and in the newspapers and everything else, we will see that the Jews were not of the same origin as Yahweh and 11 of his disciples. The 2,000 years of so-called anti-Semitic teaching must then have been carried on by Yahweh from the past. Yahweh was always in conflict with the Jews. When he came as the Word in a flesh body, he was always in conflict with them. In fact, it said, Yahweh the Word would not even walk among Jewry. Is this written? It is written. Now, Martin Luther was a Catholic monk. And he was the leader of the Reformation Act. Is this right? When they broke away from the Catholic Church, and they made the protest movement, or what we call the Protestant movement today, which later branched out into 3,170 different Judeo-Christian churches in the world. So there must be 3,170 different Jesuses. But there's only one Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh!
Now, Martin Luther is often quoted as being anti-Semitic. And his teachings are so strong that they have even taken his books and his writings out of the Lutheran seminaries and refused to allow the new Lutheran ministers that are coming up into their own being to read the writings of Martin Luther, who was the originator of the Reformation Act itself. Because you've got Jewish rabbis teaching in their seminaries. Now, Martin Luther is often quoted as being anti-Semitic, but his words on this subject are very much in line with those of Yahweh, the Word. And so Yahweh and Martin Luther were in agreement about the Jews. Now, a current court case is in process in Australia right now, today, where Jewish interests are accusing the Anglican Church of being anti-Semitic because the Anglicans are using the Bible, a supposedly anti-Semitic book, against the Jews. In Australia, the Anglican Church is being accused of being anti-Semitic because they're using the Bible. The Jews are accusing them of being anti-Semitic. Now, do we have a problem here somewhere? Well, if they're accusing the Anglican Church of being anti-Semitic for using the Bible in Australia, that means the Jews are actually at this time silently but not saying that they're accusing the Lutheran churches, the Presbyterian churches, the Unitarian churches the Methodist churches, and all other of Judeo-Christianity's churches of being anti-Semitic because they're reading the Word of Yahweh in the Bible. Now you see, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And just because the Jews are saying it in Australia, do you think they're not thinking it here, but they're afraid to say it? Because you see, the Jews don't teach out of the Bible, they teach out of the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud. And didn't Jeremiah say in the end time, it would be as the daughter of Babylon that would rule over his people Jacob, Israel? This is very important. So if the Jews are openly accusing the Anglican Church of white Western European white men, women, and children in Australia, because they use the Bible, of being anti-Semitic because they read out of the Bible. Well, I thought the Jews said they gave us the Bible. Now, have we got a problem here, or is there a problem? Just a moment, please. Well, another drink of common sense. There is no truth in the Jews. Our Heavenly Father said in what? John 8:44, they are liars. He said more, but we'll stop right there. They are liars. And Titus, in your New Testament, did not he say, do not believe Jewish fables? And we wonder why we have a problem in the United States of America. When you have all these Jews and dual citizenship Jews and Canaanites and Edomites out there in Washington, D.C. and sitting in Lansing and all these other things, why our country is in such despair.